Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for part two of Professor Victor Singingeagle's discussion of There by Tommy Orange. Here at Sisseton Wahpeton College, English 210, Native American Literature. Let's get started, shall we? We last left off discussing the occupation of Alcatraz back in the 60s, early 70s, and we had jumped from the story of Tony Loneman, and we jumped backwards in time. Tony Loneman being a fetal alcohol syndrome kid who actually grown up and he's in his 20s. He's being hornswoggled by this Chicano Latino gangsters who plan on robbing a powwow that's going to be held at the Oakland Coliseum. We were discussing the fact that, how do I even put this? This is a really tangled up plot, you see. I'm just going to read from my notes here. It says here, Opal and Jackie Bearshield. Mom is evicted from her Oakland house. They joined the Alcatraz occupation. Jackie and Harvey were drinking on the beach. Jackie gets pregnant by Harvey, gives the baby up. The baby grows up to be named Crystal, and then later Blue. And remember, this, by the way, is a 3D printer, and it's 3D printing a gun. Who's printing guns, you might ask? Well, these guys. Their plot, and remember, this is all twisted and braided in together. Their idea, because there's going to be this powwow coming up, they told Tony Loneman, dude, we want you to go to Walmart, buy some bullets, put it in a sock, go to the Oakland Coliseum, the bushes, get inside, put the bullets in the sock and throw them in the bushes and stand by for further instructions. So that's what these guys have going on, right? Okay, so we can let this simmer. Now, we're going to go back to other things, because remember, this is an urban Indian scenario we are talking about. Let's go back to this is all in the modern times now, because we keep going back and forth in time, back in the 70s, back to the 2018 or whatever it is. So they're 3D printing a gun because they want to make it out of plastic, so that way when they have to go through the metal detectors, it won't set them off. That's what the gangsters want to do. Now, we've got some other characters we need to think about. We got Edwin Black. He is a fat, fatherless kid, and he's living with his mom, and he hangs out on the internet all the time. He's always on the internet. By the way, I described him to AI, and that's what AI gave me, this wonderful photograph or drawing of Edwin Black. And he hangs out in his mom's basement, and he's always online. And he keeps asking his mom, who's my dad? And mom's always giving evasive answers. And then finally she said, well, he's some dude named Harvey, and he lives out in Arizona or Oklahoma or somewhere, I forget. I think it's Arizona. Anyhow, he goes online, he gets his mom's Facebook account, and he's looking for all kinds of Harveys. Harveys everywhere. And he finds Harvey's, and he's always saying, hey, Harvey, I remember that night. Do you remember that wild night we had? And finally, to make a long story short, he finds his dad on Facebook Messenger. This is on page 69. His dad, again, is Harvey. Let's see if I have it on here. See, I don't know, I took out the marker. I'll read. 69. Here it is. I hear the Facebook pop ding sound from my computer and go back to my room. I know what it could mean. I'm still logged into my mother's Facebook account. All my mom ever remembered about my dad was his first name, Harvey. That he lived in Phoenix and he was a Native American Indian. I've always hated when she says Native American Indian. This weird, politically correct catch-all you only hear from white people who've never known a real Native person. And it reminds me of how removed I am because of her. Not only because she is white, and me therefore half white, but because of how she never did a single thing to try to connect me with my dad. Sound familiar? Let's keep reading. I'm going to skip some of this. After getting permission from my mom, I personal messaged 10 different Harveys from her profile who seemed obviously native and lived in Phoenix. He wrote, "You may not remember me. We had a special night together some years ago, and I can't shake the memory of it." Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to skip some of this. So he gets a pop ding, and the message back says, "Hey there, Karen. I do remember that wild night. I'm coming out to Oakland in a couple of months for the big Oakland powwow. I am the powwow MC," the message reads. Heart racing, a sick feeling in my stomach. I type back, "I'm so sorry to have done this like this. I think I'm your son." And so we got that going on. The dude rediscovering his Indianness and reconnecting with an absent Native American father. We've got this kid who happens to be the grandson of the girl, Jacqueline, who, I don't know how this, let me just read. This is really, really complicated. Let's see now. That was Edwin Black, the fat kid. Oops, I don't want to do that. Why did it do that to me? I hate it when it does that. There we go. Remember what I told you? This is really complicated, and I'm standing up here just making a fool out of myself. Jackie Bear Shield. Let's do her. We'll skip him for now. This is Jackie Bear Shield. Jacqueline Red Feather I put, but it's actually Jackie Bear Shield? I don't know. Anyhow, Jackie's grown up. She's much older. And she goes to an AA meeting. And this is, I believe, in Phoenix. And who should she run into but the very dude that got her pregnant way back in the 70s. And he's running the AA meetings because she's an alcoholic and she's trying to get away from alcohol. And they run into each other at the AA meeting and she's freaking out. She's mad. By the way, this is more AI. I described her to AI, and that's what AI drew for me. He starts talking. Harvey and Jackie start talking. And Harvey invites her to go to the Oakland powwow as friends, you see, because she's still mad at him. And he's trying to be apologetic and say, hey, I'm really sorry. All those years ago, I was just a dumb little alcoholic kid. And, now I'm a powwow MC. And I am going to I want to show you that I've kind of grown up. So that's where that comes. Now we're going to skip through some of this. Oh man, there's so much happening. Let's go back to this. I'm going to read what it says here. We did Edwin Orville. This is Orville Redfeather. He is the grand nephew of Opal Victoria Bear Shield. Remember what I said about it getting complicated? The little girl whose big sister got pregnant on the island. Okay, it's really complicated. Let me just explain this. This is also AI. This is my favorite picture because the little boy, he's growing up in Oakland, California, and his Indianness is hidden from him. His auntie or his great auntie does not want to tell him anything about his ancestry. I'm going to go to page 118. One day he rummages around in his mom's closet, or his great aunt's closet, I should say. He finds some powwow regalia. He puts it on and looks in the mirror. And because, he has to go online because he's an urban Indian. He doesn't know anything. All he knows is he's Indian, but he doesn't know anything about his ancestry. So he's always going online, Indians.com, and let me just read. It says here, Orville stands in front of Opal's bedroom mirror with his regalia on, all wrong. It isn't backward, and actually he doesn't know what he did wrong, but it's off. He moves in front of the mirror, and his feathers shake. He catches the hesitation, the worry in his eyes. There in the mirror, he worries suddenly that Opal might come into the room where Orville is doing what? There would be too much to explain. He wonders what she would do if she caught him. Ever since they were in her care, Opal had been openly against any of them doing anything Indian. She treated like it was something they could decide for themselves when they were old enough, like drinking or driving or smoking or voting. Indianing. I'm going to skip some of this. I'm skipping some of this because it's too long. It's too much yakety yak. Grandma Jackie Redfeather. Tell me something about her. Nobody says it right. Blah, 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 blah. So Orville is standing in the mirror. He's getting it on. Full-length mirror. Actually, this is a dresser mirror, but that's okay. It says here he doesn't know why, but this seems important. Mirrors have always been a problem for him. The word stupid often sounds in his head when he looks at himself in the mirror. And true, the regalia is itchy and faded in color. It's way too small. He doesn't look the way he hoped he would. He doesn't know what he expected to find. Being Indian didn't fit either, and virtually everything Orville learned about being Indian, he learned virtually. From watching hours and hours of powwow footage, documentaries on YouTube, by reading all there was to read on sites like Wikipedia, powwows.com, and Indian Country Today. Googling stuff like, what does it mean to be a real Indian? Which led him several clicks through some pretty effed up judgmental forums, and finally to an urbandictionary.com word he'd never heard before, pretendian. Orville knew he wanted to dance the first time he saw a dancer on TV. He was 12. So that's another reason why he put all the regalia on. I'm going to skip over that. And so what Orville is, according to himself, standing in front of the mirror with his too small for him stolen regalia, is dressed up like an Indian. In hides and ties, ribbons and feathers, boned breastplate, and hunched shoulders, he stands weak in the knees. A fake, a copy, a boy playing dress up. And yet, there's something there. Behind that stupid glazed over stare, the one he so often gives his brothers, that critical, cruel look behind that, he can almost see it, which is why he keeps looking, keeps standing in front of the mirror. He's waiting for something true to appear before him, about him. It's important that he dress like an Indian, dance like an Indian, even if it is an act, even if he feels like a fraud the whole time. Because the only way to be Indian in this world is to look and act like an Indian. To be or not to be Indian depends on it. So that's part of it. How we doing on time? I might have to cut this into a third section. 14 minutes and 27 seconds. We're going to cut this. We're going to do a third video. So we'll stop it here. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Talk to you in the next video.